Hi folks, Pete Lane. Welcome to Blind Abilities and welcome to another iPhone 101 demonstration. Today we're going to take a quick look at our iPhone storage. So many of us have purchased phones that we feel are well equipped to handle all of the bytes, kilobytes, megabytes, and gigabytes of data that we may ultimately download onto our device, whether it's an iPhone, an iPad, or even an iPod Touch. In keeping with that, we can also be very mindful of how much of our storage we are using at any point in time. Today we're going to take a quick look at how to do that and how to determine precisely how to remove some of that data from our devices to free up more storage space. So with that in mind, let's get started. I'm going to call up our settings, go into General, and ultimately go into iPhone Storage. The quickest way to do that, open General Settings.
Let's take a look at the settings for General.
Settings.
We are in our General Settings. Now let's flick to the right until we get to iPhone Storage.
General, heading, About, button, CarPlay, button, iPhone Storage, button.
And there we are in iPhone Storage. It's a button, wheel, single finger double tap.
iPhone, 51.7 gigabytes of 128 gigabyte used. Apps, 20%. Media, 6%. System, 6%.
Let me turn my rotor to Words so we can flick through this a little bit more slowly.
Headings, words.
All right, let's flick down.
iPhone, 52.2 GB of 128 GB.
So I've got a little over 52 gigs occupied in a phone that has a storage capacity of 128 gigs. So I'm in no danger of exceeding my storage capacity. But if I were, I would want to continue on this screen to see exactly where I might remove items from my device and therefore free up some space. Let's continue to flick.
Recommendations.
Here, iOS is giving us recommendations as to where that 52 gigs is occupied. Let's continue to flick to the right.
Review large attachments, button.
Now this is going to be the main focus of this particular iPhone 101 demo, but let's continue flicking and see what else we have on this screen.
Save up to 161.7 megabytes. See photos, videos, and attachments taking up storage in messages and consider deleting them.
So it's recommending that we consider deleting some of the larger attachments and perhaps remove up to 161 megabytes of the 52 gigs that we're currently using. I'll continue to flick to the right.
WhatsApp, 6.53 gigabytes. Last used, today, button.
So what we will now have is a list of our apps in descending order relating to how much storage they are currently occupying. And as you heard, WhatsApp is my biggest user, and it's occupying
6.53 gigabytes.
6.53 gigabytes. I'll continue to flick just to give you a feel for how the list of apps descends in the amount of storage occupied.
Podcasts, 5.65 gigabytes, button.
5.65 for podcast.
MOTIV Audio, 5.22 gigabytes.
Motive Audio is a recording app.
Bard Mobile, 2.12 gigabytes.
I actually just cleared out some books that I had completed, so that's not as high as it was a couple of days ago. And I'll stop there. You get the picture. It's declining with each app that we flick to as we flick to the right, and I'm down into the megabyte range, so none of these apps are really using a huge amount of storage capacity. So now let's just go back up and see what those large attachments are that we saw earlier, and I'll flick to the left.
Save up to 161.7 megabytes. See photos, videos, and attachments taking up storage in messages and consider deleting them.
See photos, videos, and attachments that are taking the lion's share of my storage. I'll flick again to the left.
Review large attachments, button.
I'll do a single finger double tap right here.
December 26th, 2020, 26.9 megabytes.
So once again, we will have a list of attachments. They may be audio files, they may be videos, they may be photos, they may be document attachments that have come to me in my Messages app. Now, above this first attachment, we do have
Edit button.
an edit button. If we double tap, it will give us an option to select attachments and then perform a bulk action. And the bulk action that's offered here is to delete them all. We could go through them individually and delete them, or we could delete them all in one double tap. Let's go to the right again and take a look at the first attachment.
December 26th, 2020, 26.9 megabytes.
So right after Christmas, I received some sort of attachment. Let's double tap on it. I'll do a single finger double tap.
Back button. Done button.
We have a done button flicking to the right.
IMG_0001. Heading.
There's an image.
Share button. Play button.
Let's play it. And I performed another single finger double tap to stop the play. Yeah, a little annoying. Anyway, It was Christmas. So I assumed that that was a video sent to me by someone, and that someone, frankly, I do not recall. And videos by nature do take quite a bit of your storage space. So let's see what I can do here. I think it said actions available. I'll swipe up with one finger and see if we have an actions rotor.
Delete.
We have a delete button.
Activate default.
And an activate button. So if I wanted to delete it, I could just swipe up to the delete option, do a single finger double tap, and it would be gone from my phone. But let's go down to another one and take a look and see what other types of attachments this list will reveal.
November 29th, 2020, 26.2 megabytes. Actions available.
26.2 megabytes from November 29th. Let's double tap and see what this one is.
Done button.
Flicking to the right.
Sarah Herlinger. Heading.
Sarah Herlinger. Now that tells me what it is.
Play button.
Super excited about all that Magnifier can do. That was one of the things that we really gave a full overhaul to this year. And I think it's really almost becoming kind of a toolkit where there's something for everyone. The ability for it to read out elements that are on the screen so that it can tell you, give you that environmental awareness.
Please welcome Apple's Director of Global Accessibility Policy and Initiatives, Sarah Herlinger.
The fact that by being a company like Apple that has so many different groups.
Pause.
That was the audio file that ultimately became the Apple interview with Sarah Herlinger that Jeff did back in November. Great podcast. Check it out. Let's flick to the right and see what else is on this particular screen.
Media timeline, 30 seconds, adjustable.
We have a media timeline, which tells us how far into the file we have listened.
26 minutes, 48 seconds remaining. Sarah Herlinger. Heading. Done button.
And I'll double tap the done button.
November 29th, 2020, 26.2 megabytes. Actions available.
Let's flick down toward the bottom of the list and see how small these files get before iOS stops recommending them as suggested removal items. I'll do a 4-finger single tap at the bottom of the screen and then flick backwards until we get to the bottom of the list.
Vertical scroll bar, 8 pages, 98%, adjustable.
And I'll flick to the left.
March 7th, 2021, 92 kilobytes.
So there we have a 92 kilobyte attachment. So now you can see at least approximately how large the attachment is that we consider removing. But let's go back up to the top and get out of this particular screen. I'll do a 4-finger single tap toward the top of the screen.
Back button.
Our beloved back button. Now, before we exit out of this screen, I want to go back to the edit button and take a quick look at how we can remove or delete multiple items in a bulk fashion instead of individually deleting them as we demonstrated a few moments ago. So let's go back up to
Edit button.
our edit button, do a single finger double tap.
Done. Delete button.
We have a delete button.
December 26th, 2020, 26.9 megabytes.
And then as we flick to the right, we get back into our list of large attachments. So if I do want to delete this Christmas video, all I need to do is a single finger double tap.
Selected. December 26th, 2020, 26.9 megabytes.
Now, as you heard, I have selected it. I have not yet deleted it. Let's flick to the right.
November 29th, 2020, 26.2 megabytes.
Now, that was the draft of the Sarah Herlinger Apple interview. Let's do a single finger double tap to select.
Selected. November 29th, 2020, 26.2 megabytes.
Let's continue flicking to the right.
November 22nd, 2020. January 20th, 2021, December 12th, 2020, 14.7 megabytes.
So say that was an attachment that I wanted to delete, but not the two that are above it on the list. I can just do a single finger double tap here as well.
Selected. December 12th, 2020, 14.7 megabytes.
Now I have selected 3 particular attachments and skipped over 2. So if I want to delete these 3, all I need to do is flick back up to the top until I find
Delete button.
and then I would do a single finger double tap to delete those attachments. If they were all ones that I did not want to keep and I wanted to free up the maximum amount of storage on my phone, I would have selected all of those items and then come back up here to the delete button. So that concludes our quick review of freeing up some iPhone storage by deleting large attachments. It's very convenient. iOS offers a list of the largest attachments on our phone, and we can then review them if we wish, delete them individually, or tap on the edit button, go through them and select them, and then come back to the delete button and delete all of the selected items with one single finger double tap. I hope this has been helpful. Thanks so much for listening, and have a great day.
When we share
what we see
through each other's eyes, we can then begin to bridge the gap between
the limited expectations and the realities
of blind abilities. The realities of blind abilities.
For more podcasts with a blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at blindabilities, download our app from the App Store, blindabilities, that's 2 words, or send us an email at info@blindabilities.com. Thanks for listening.